Here's one thing a lot of people aren't going to tell you about grants, especially if you are a new and small nonprofit. Grants are not going to save you. Grants are not the key to being successful for your nonprofit. Now, let me explain a little bit more, because you see a lot of stuff out there. You see a lot of people promoting their grant writing services and saying we can get you a grant, or there's grants for so many things. But what they don't talk about is the level of competition when it comes to certain grants. Also, what they don't talk about is the amount of time it takes to get to the point where you can consistently win grants to support your budget. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to go beyond grants, because grants are great. They are a great tool to help you scale up and grow bigger and stronger as a nonprofit, but they can't be your only strategy for getting money. They just can't, and they shouldn't be. And so in this video, I'm going to share 3 things you should be thinking about to help you go beyond grants. Because I know your question is, well, if I can't get grants, what other ways are there to make money? And if you're interested in that, then definitely check out the video I'm linking above, which tells you how nonprofits make money. But in order to get there, you have to have the right mindset. You have to know what to focus on. So in this video, I'm sharing 3 things you have to think about when it comes to making money for your nonprofit. Because when you focus on these 3 things, you'll be able to make money, but not just money for the here and now, but money for the long term, so your organization can survive. So you ready? Let's do it. The first thing I want you to focus on is money that comes quicker and money that is more flexible. So a lot of what you don't realize about grants is that, yeah, they're great because they can come in lump sums, but most times it takes months for you to get a check if you've won a grant. So let's think about the timeline, right? You hear about the grant, you take the time to write the grant, you submit it, you wait for them to make the decision, and then if they say yes, it's still more time for you to wait for them to actually cut the check. And in some instances, when you're getting a grant, you don't get the money in a lump sum. Some grants are based on reimbursement. So you only get paid once you do the service, or once you do the thing you said you would do in your proposal. So the money does not come quick. And a lot of times the money is not flexible. You cannot use it on whatever you want. You have to use it on what you put in that proposal. So they can be really restrictive, right? So in order for you to survive and to be here for a long time, you need to think about money that's more flexible so that it can be spent on multiple things, not just one program or one aspect of your program. And you want to think about money that comes a little quicker. So I know your question is, well, what is that, Tiffany? I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're still watching. I want you to think about money from individuals. So you can literally go to someone you know, ask them for a donation, and if they say yes, that money can either be in your hand right away. If it's cash, they can send it to you right away through an electronic means, and in a very short period of time, it could be in your nonprofit's bank account. So I want you to think about money from individuals and how you can ask people one-on-one or do campaigns to ask people to give. Some of y'all are thinking, well, I have to set up a GoFundMe, or I have to set up a whole event to do that. The reality is, all you have to do is ask. But your ask has to be compelling. Your ask has to be something that they would want to give to. Your ask has to be tied to an outcome. If they give money, then this is what will happen. And if they give money, this will positively impact this person or this thing. When you frame it that way, it makes it a better sell for people when you're asking them directly for money. Money from individuals is also very flexible, because it's rare that when you're asking people for money that they say, I only want you to spend the money on this. Now, there are some instances, say like when people pass away and they give money to a nonprofit, they may say, well, I want this money from my estate to go to this program, right? That's restricted. That means you should only be using that money in that way. But in most instances, especially people who give smaller amounts, they're not specifying where you need to spend the money. So you have the flexibility to be able to use it in the way you need to. So if you have to buy some software, if you got to buy some staples, or you got to buy paper, you don't have to worry about reporting that back to the funder in case that wasn't in your budget. You have a lot more flexibility to move around. And don't be mistaken, I'm not saying don't go after grants. I'm saying use them as one of your financial strategies, because grants may be able to cover some things, and then you use use your money that's more flexible and unrestricted to cover the things that the grants won't cover. Now, I have an idea about another type of flexible money, but that's actually number 3, so make sure you keep watching to hear that point. The second thing I want you to think about is recurring income. What do I mean about that? Money that comes on a regular basis. Money that you don't have to ask for every time you receive it, but it comes because someone agreed to give to you long term. Now, this type of money requires some investment, and it takes time for people to build up trust in your organization to want to give on a regular basis. But this is like unlocking a cheat code for your nonprofit. Once you get people to agree to give an amount on a monthly basis, it helps stabilize your operations because for the most part, you can rely on a certain amount of money coming in. And one thing we don't talk about a lot with nonprofits is how to continue operations. A lot of people who are new and small have like stop and starts. But that's because you may get some money to do a project, and then when the project's over and the money runs out, you got to stop and you got to think about how to get more money to continue the project or to grow the project. And so to avoid that, you want to have continuous operations. You got to have a positive cash flow. You got to know from month to month, money is going to continue to come in. And one way to assure that is to have people give on a regular basis. You want to get to the point where you have people give $20 a month or $50 a month. One example of this that you really need to check out is Charity Water. They have a club called The Spring, and people commit to giving a certain amount of money every month to support their work of bringing clean water across the world. And the thing about monthly giving or recurring income is that it may be smaller gifts. So you may want somebody to give $100, but instead they may commit to $15 a month. But if that person gives at least 12 months in the year, that's more than that $100 donation. And the other thing you got to realize is that if someone decides to regularly put you a part of their monthly budget, that's a certain level of commitment that signals to you that that person is an asset for your organization. So I would explore those relationships and figure out, why are those people giving? Why are those people so committed? Ask them questions, because that will give you clues to find other monthly givers. And don't lose this part. If those people are so committed to give monthly, then I'm pretty sure they're willing to tell other people about how and why they support your organization. So they can be an incredible asset to help you bring even more money. So your focus should be on getting money into the door, but also once money's in the door and people have given that initial gift, how can you continue to court them and persuade them to give on a regular basis? And remember, it may be smaller gifts, but if you look at it in totality, if you look at it for the year, or if you look at it over 20 years, those people will give way more than those one-time donors. And this is the third thing I want you to think about. I know you've been waiting for it because I previewed it earlier, but I want you to think about ways you can earn money, not just ways you can ask for money. So there are 2 main types of income. They're called contributed income and earned income. Contributed income is typically money from donations, it's the charitable giving, it's grants, things like that. Earned income is income that you make yourself. So if you have a product or if you have a service that you sell, that means you earn that money because through that transaction, the person got something of value, they paid for it, and that money is yours free and clear. That's the flexible money I was talking about in point 1. If somebody pays your nonprofit to do something, then generally there aren't restrictions on how you use that money because you earned it fair and square. And some people get lost in this because they don't think that nonprofits can operate like businesses, meaning they can't make money, they can't think about profit, they can't even make profit. And that's a lie. I just have to say it just like that. That's a lie. Nonprofits can earn money. Nonprofits do earn money. Nonprofits own businesses. They own for-profit businesses. And even within their own nonprofit, they also sell things and they also earn money, right? I want you to think about if you have a skill set that you can teach other people, you can market that skill set and people can pay to learn how to do whatever work that you do. You can get paid to do training. You can get paid to create models for people to implement in their own areas if you're really good at what you do. If you have a product that relates to your mission, you can sell that product and you can use that money to fund your operations. So there's a lot going on right now in 2025 when it comes to grants. A lot of grants, particularly government grants, are being pulled, and the space and availability of grant funding is getting smaller and smaller. And I have been saying this for a long time. If you go back on my YouTube channel, I've been talking about earned income from the very beginning. Check out this video where I break it down. But it's even more apparent that you got to think about ways you can earn money, you can sell a service or a product in addition to getting grants and donations. I still believe that people are giving. I still believe it's important for you to ask for money and to get those contributions. But just as important it is to get the money from those contributions, it's important for you to have earned income. You can charge for a service. You don't have to charge market rate, but if you need to charge an entry fee, that's okay. If you provide a service, if that's going to help you stay around, that's okay. If you sell something, a product or service to businesses or organizations, that's more sustainable because this country favors businesses above people. That's just what it is. The way our laws are made, our tax laws are made. Businesses benefit way more than individual people do. So you can also market to businesses and sell things to businesses or government agencies or organizations and have them pay you if you don't want to charge people who are receiving your services for those services. So there are multiple ways you can do this, but the point is I just want you to think about how you can earn income and what are the opportunities for you to earn income. If you're thinking about starting a nonprofit and this has really intrigued you, or if you're just trying to figure out if you're taking the right steps, if you're thinking about the right things, then comment startup checklist below because I have a 2-page checklist on all the things you need to be thinking about when you are starting your nonprofit because, hey, people don't tell you these things. So if you want that, comment startup checklist below and I will send you the link. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.